Have you ever been in a quiet restaurant or on a long flight when the peace is suddenly shattered by a child's tantrum? Have you watched a parent plead, bribe, and negotiate with their child, feeling that wave of secondhand exhaustion? It's a scene we've all witnessed, and it feels like an almost unavoidable part of modern life. Now imagine something different. A family dining out, their kids talking quietly. A child on a plane reading a book, calm and composed. At a public event, children who stand patiently and shake hands when introduced. This is the world often associated with families that prioritize long-term values and legacy, sometimes called old money. Their composure can seem so effortless it's almost mistaken for an inherited trait. But it's not an accident. It's a result of a distinct philosophy. While many parents get caught in a daily battle over discipline, these families often use a set of powerful methods that build self-control from a young age. This isn't about being overly strict or unaffectionate. It's about a deeply ingrained approach centered on character, legacy, and quiet strength. Today, we're exploring that very architecture of discipline. We're going to break down the 7 core pillars that help shape a child's behavior from reactive and chaotic to composed and respectful. This is the silent curriculum that runs in the background of their lives, helping them become adults who move through the world with an understated confidence. And you'll definitely want to stick around for the 4th principle. It revolves around structure and safety, and it's a total paradigm shift from how many of us think about discipline. It might just be the key to bringing a new level of peace and order to your own home. Chapter 1. The Architecture of Composure. Emotional control is taught, not suppressed. The first and perhaps most important pillar is actively teaching emotional regulation. This is a critical distinction. Often, a child's big emotions are either indulged or punished. A tantrum might be met with frantic appeasement. "What do you want? Here, take the iPad, just please stop." Or with anger. "If you don't stop this right now, you're going to your room." Both reactions teach a child the same thing. Their emotions have immense external power, either to get what they want or to provoke a scary reaction. Families focused on character see it differently. They know emotions aren't the enemy. Uncontrolled reactions are. The goal isn't to raise unfeeling robots, but to give kids the tools to feel anger, frustration, or disappointment without being consumed by it. They teach that composure is a form of strength, allowing you to think clearly even when you feel turbulent inside. This isn't suppression, which just bottles up feelings until they explode. It's about learning to channel emotions effectively. So how is this taught? It starts with the parent's own behavior. You'll rarely see a parent in these environments lose their temper or get into a frantic shouting match. When a child has a meltdown, the parent becomes a model of calm. Instead of feeding the fire with their own anger, they might get down to the child's level, speak in a low, steady voice, and act as an anchor in the storm. A parent's calm sends a powerful message. This feeling isn't an emergency. We can handle this. I'm not afraid of your anger, and you don't have to be either. Next, they give the child words for their feelings. Instead of "stop crying," you might hear, "I can see you're feeling very frustrated right now." This simple act of labeling the emotion validates it and removes the shame. A parent might say, "It's okay to feel angry that we have to leave the park. I get it, but it's not okay to scream and hit." This separates the valid feeling from the unacceptable behavior. From there, they teach coping mechanisms as tools, not punishments. When you feel that big, hot feeling of anger, a parent might suggest, "Let's try our breathing exercise. Let's blow the anger out like birthday candles." Or, "Let's go to the quiet corner for a few minutes to let our bodies calm down." This quiet corner isn't a punitive timeout. It's a safe space with a pillow or a book, a place to regain composure, not to be shamed for losing it. Through thousands of these small, consistent interactions, a child's brain builds the pathways for self-soothing. They internalize their parents' calm voice. An outburst becomes a moment for practice, not a crisis. The result is an adult who doesn't panic under pressure, make reactive decisions, or crumble when things go wrong. They've learned to master themselves, which is the first and most important kind of mastery. Chapter 2. The Currency of Respect. Manners as self-command, not subservience. In today's world, manners can feel like an old-fashioned, superficial thing, a set of rules to perform for guests. At worst, they're seen as a way to force a child to be artificially nice. But in a character-focused philosophy, manners are the opposite of subservience. They're a powerful expression of self-respect. They're a practical tool for moving through life with less friction and more grace. A child is taught that saying please and thank you isn't about groveling, it's about showing you are in control of your impulses and that you respect the person you're interacting with, whether they're a CEO or a waiter. This training starts the moment a child can talk and is woven into the fabric of daily life. The dinner table is the primary training ground. Here, a child learns more than which fork to use. They learn the art of conversation. They learn to make eye contact, not to interrupt, and to ask questions of others, showing genuine interest. They learn to sit patiently, even when bored, because the world often requires quiet endurance. These rules are framed as tools for empowerment. When you know how to handle a formal dinner, the lesson goes, you'll never feel out of place. You can walk into any room and focus on the conversation, not on whether you're using the right spoon. This gives a child a quiet confidence, a code that unlocks any social situation. This goes far beyond the dinner table. A child is taught to write a thank you note for a gift, not as a chore, but as an exercise in gratitude. They learn to treat service staff the same courtesy as a family friend, with the understanding that true class is shown in how you treat people you don't have to be kind to. Think about a simple handshake. For many, it's an afterthought. In these families, it's a lesson. The child is taught to stand, look the person in the eye, and give a firm grip. This small act communicates respect, presence, and self-assurance. It's a physical sign of their inner composure. This focus on etiquette isn't about creating stuffy automatons. It's about building reputational credit. It's the understanding that while accomplishments get you in the door, your character is what keeps you in the room. Children trained this way grow into adults who build trust effortlessly. Their quiet courtesy speaks volumes, a form of social intelligence that minimizes conflict and builds goodwill.
Chapter 3. The Sanctuary of Silence. The unspoken rule of absolute discretion. What is said in this house stays in this house. This is often an unspoken, ironclad rule in families that value privacy. In an age of oversharing, where every meal and minor grievance is broadcast online, these families cultivate a deep culture of discretion. Children learn from a young age that family matters, finances, disagreements, and problems are not for public consumption. This isn't about hiding secrets or being dishonest. It's a strategic philosophy rooted in the idea that unnecessary public disclosure invites risk, jealousy, gossip, and unwanted opinions. By maintaining a sphere of privacy, the family creates a sanctuary where they can be themselves without fear of public judgment. The training is subtle but constant. If a child comes home and gossips about a friend's family, a parent might gently shut it down. That's their private business, they might say, and it's not our place to discuss it. This teaches the child to respect the privacy of others as well as their own family. It's a lesson in boundaries. You might also notice that children from these backgrounds rarely talk about money in specific terms. They're taught that flaunting wealth can be a sign of insecurity, a plea for validation. The philosophy is that understatement is armor. They may choose the understated high-quality car over the flashy one, with logos facing inward, not outward. This culture of discretion has a powerful effect. First, it builds a strong sense of family unity. Knowing your vulnerabilities are protected fosters deep loyalty and trust. Second, it teaches the difference between a public and a private persona. This isn't about being fake, it's about being strategic. They learn that in public or professional settings, one must be composed and measured. This is a crucial skill for navigating the adult world. And finally, this training cultivates a form of quiet power. People who don't feel the need to broadcast their every thought are often perceived as more thoughtful and substantial. Their words carry more weight because they are used intentionally. In a world that screams for attention, they are taught the power of silence. What you don't say is often more important than what you do. Chapter 4. The Bedrock of Discipline. structure as safety, not punishment. This is the principle that many well-intentioned parents, in an effort to be their child's friend, get wrong. They see structure and routine as creativity killing impositions. They favor spontaneity and flexible bedtimes, creating a home where a child's whims often set the schedule. The paradox is that this often results not in a happy, free child, but an anxious and insecure one. Many families who successfully raise self-reliant children understand a fundamental psychological truth. For a child, predictability equals safety. A world without clear boundaries isn't freedom, it's chaos. When a child doesn't know what to expect, their nervous system can be in a constant state of alert. They're forced to constantly test the boundaries to figure out where they are, which often looks like misbehavior. In these households, discipline is not a synonym for punishment. Discipline is the structure that holds life together. Bedtimes are non-negotiable. Mealtimes are consistent. Chores are expected to be completed without constant reminders. This isn't presented as a punitive measure, but as the calm, predictable rhythm of family life. It's just the way we do things. Think of it like the foundation of a house. You don't see it, but without it, everything would collapse. The consistent bedtime isn't about controlling the child, it's about ensuring they get the restorative sleep needed for emotional regulation. Having clear responsibilities, like setting the table, teaches a child they are a contributing member of the family, not just a consumer. This approach transforms the parent-child dynamic. The parent is no longer the bad guy. The structure itself becomes the authority. It's not, "I am making you go to bed," it's 8 o'clock and that's bedtime. This removes the personal battle of wills. This authoritative parenting style, balancing clear rules with warmth, has been repeatedly shown in research to produce positive outcomes in children, including better emotional control and independence. Over the years, this structure is internalized and the child develops self-discipline. They don't need someone hovering over them to do their homework because the rhythm and responsibility have become part of them. The paradox is that the seemingly strict routines can actually create more freedom in the long run. An adult who has internalized this structure is the master of their own time and energy. They are free to pursue their goals, building upon a foundation of unshakable stability. Chapter 5: The Apprenticeship in Responsibility, Fostering Independence from an Early Age. There's a common fear in modern parenting of letting children fail. Parents swoop in to solve every problem, mediate every dispute, and shield their child from discomfort. They might do their child's homework or argue with a coach for more playing time. This approach, sometimes called snowplow parenting, is born from love, but it can create adults who lack resilience. A different approach is built on early and escalating responsibility. It views childhood not as a protected bubble, but as an apprenticeship for adulthood. The goal is to make yourself, the parent, redundant. From a young age, children are given tasks with real-world consequences. A young child might be responsible for feeding the dog. If they forget, the parent doesn't secretly do it for them. They use the natural consequence as a teaching moment. See how Rover is waiting? He depends on you. Your responsibility matters. As the child grows, so do the responsibilities. A teenager might be given a calendar and the expectation that they will balance their own studies, sports, and social life. If they fail a test, the parents don't blame the teacher. They sit down and ask, "What was your plan for preparing? What could you do differently next time?" The failure is treated as data, a valuable lesson. This philosophy extends crucially to money. Instead of showering children with cash, some families teach them that money is a tool to be managed. They might be given a modest allowance, not tied to chores, but as a tool for learning. This money is theirs to manage, and they are allowed to make mistakes. If a child blows their entire monthly allowance in one weekend, the bank of mom and dad is closed. This small failure at age 10 is an invaluable lesson that can prevent a much bigger failure at age 30. This might sound harsh, but it is actually a profound act of love and respect. It tells the child, "I trust you. I believe you are capable." By allowing a child to struggle, fail, and find their own way out, parents give them the incredible gift of self-reliance.
They raise adults who aren't afraid of challenges because they have a lifetime of experience overcoming them. They've been trained to rescue themselves. We're exploring the psychology of generational discipline, and these ideas are just the start. If you're finding this look into quiet power and character building valuable, consider subscribing. We believe these aren't just habits for one group of people, they are timeless principles for raising capable, confident, and grounded human beings. Chapter 6: The Cultivation of the Mind: Education Beyond the Classroom. For many ambitious families, education can become a competitive sport focused on metrics, grades, test scores, and admission to elite universities. While these achievements are not unimportant, some parenting philosophies see them as a byproduct, not the ultimate goal. In this alternative view, the true focus is on cultivating the mind itself, fostering a deep and genuine intellectual curiosity that lasts a lifetime. It's about building a rich inner world that provides comfort, perspective, and wisdom, regardless of what's happening outside. This educational philosophy often begins with a deep reverence for books. In these homes, libraries are the heart of the house. Children grow up seeing their parents read voraciously, not just for work, but history, philosophy, and fiction. Reading isn't presented as a chore, but as a pleasure, a gateway to other worlds. Conversation is the second pillar. The dinner table is not just for manners, but for ideas. Discussions might revolve around current events, history, or science. A parent might ask, "I read an interesting article today about artificial intelligence. What do you think the world will look like in 30 years?" These questions teach children how to think critically, form an argument, and listen to different viewpoints. They learn that their opinions matter, but that those opinions should be thoughtful. This extends to cultural exposure. Children are taken to museums, the ballet, and concerts from a young age. The goal is to tune their aesthetic sensibilities, expose them to beauty, and connect them to a broader humanistic tradition. They learn that the world is filled with things far more enduring than the latest trend. The result is a different kind of intelligence. It's not just the ability to memorize facts for a test, it's the ability to synthesize information, see connections, and engage with the world on a deeper level. These children can grow into adults who are both interesting and interested, able to hold a conversation on a wide range of topics. They have been trained not just to pass tests, but to think. Chapter 7: The Aesthetic of Understatement: Rejecting the Currency of Attention. Our final pillar addresses one of the most visible philosophical divides when it comes to wealth and success: the approach to displaying it. It's a natural impulse to want to show the fruits of your labor, the flashy car, the oversized logos, the statement jewelry. It can be a loud proclamation of "I've made it." There is, however, another aesthetic: the aesthetic of understatement. Children raised in this philosophy are taught that attention is a resource to be managed, not a prize to be won. They learn that overt displays of wealth can be a vulnerability, attracting the wrong kind of attention. This principle is taught through example and simple explanations. A child might want the trendy logo-covered sneakers everyone has. The parent might refuse, not with a lecture, but with a simple, pragmatic line. Quality whispers, "That's just noise." They are taught to appreciate craftsmanship, longevity, and timeless style over fleeting trends. "Buy it once, buy it right" is a common mantra. This extends to all areas of life. Accomplishments are celebrated within the family, not always broadcast for public applause. The goal is to cultivate mastery and quiet confidence, not to seek external validation. There's a core belief that if you are truly good at something, you don't need to advertise it. This has a profound effect on a child's sense of self-worth. When a child's identity isn't tied to the brands they wear, they are pushed to develop a stronger inner core. Their value comes from their character, their intellect, and their contributions, not their possessions. In the end, the aesthetic of understatement is its own kind of power move. It communicates a level of confidence so profound that it requires no external validation. It signals a mindset focused on what you have, not what you show. This is the final and perhaps most subtle lesson. True power doesn't need to announce itself. It is felt in its quiet, confident presence. So what have we learned? The kind of composure we sometimes see and admire in children isn't a mystery or an accident of birth. It's often the result of a deliberate, consistent, and deeply philosophical approach to raising them. It starts with the architecture of composure, teaching kids to manage their emotions. It's reinforced by treating manners as self-command, a tool for earning respect. It's protected by the sanctuary of silence, a culture of discretion that builds trust. It's built on the bedrock of discipline, where structure provides safety and leads to self-discipline. It's brought to life through an apprenticeship in responsibility, giving children the gift of resilience. It's enriched by the cultivation of the mind, fostering a curiosity that goes beyond grades. And it's expressed through the aesthetic of understatement, which teaches that a person's worth is measured by their character. These 7 pillars are not about raising children with wealth, they are about raising children of value. It's a philosophy that shifts the focus from short-term fixes to long-term character. It requires patience and a belief in the quiet, steady work of building a human being from the inside out. This is the hidden training, not about having old money, but about embracing timeless values. And that is a legacy any family can choose to build.